Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a medic in the U.S. Army. I'm also a wife and a mother to three great kids. When I look in the mirror, I usually see a pretty confident woman who can be pretty silly at times, but also knows when to switch it off and be serious and get stuff done. The question as far as my end journey has brought me to a place in my life and career where I'm comfortable, but I know I want to do more and I know I can do more. So a little bit about myself. I'm an Army brat. So for those of you who don't know what that means, um, both my parents were military. Both of them retired. I grew up being around the Army all my life. I do have siblings, but I grew up as an only child. I'm my mom's only child. It was pretty much her and me the majority of my life. To this day, she is still like one of the biggest cheerleaders in my life. And I love her and appreciate her for it. Um, as far as younger days, like education was very big and important to my parents. Neither one of them had gone to college when I was younger. Both of them were enlisted, and the idea of not going to college, it wasn't even an option. I think I joked once that I would enlist straight out of high school, and that was shot down. Just flame of glory. Um, so I did. Um, I went to college. I went to University of West Georgia. I went with the idea that I was going to be a veterinarian because I loved animals growing up. That was my passion. Um, so there's the only other time that I kind of really considered the military because I was like, oh, maybe they'll pay for schooling. But initially, it really wasn't even on my radar. As I guess what led to my rock bottom moment. In college, I was in a long distance relationship for about 2 years. It was serious. And when it ended, I kind of went crazy. I didn't really know what to do with myself. I suddenly was single and able to go do all these single activities, I guess, while you're in school. Go out to the bar, go out and party. And not that I guess I could never do those things before, but I'm very much a homebody in the relationship. So once I was single and just lost my mind. Um, Downfall of that is I was no longer focusing. I stopped really doing my schoolwork. I was kind of a subpar employee at times. And actually, like halfway through the semester, pretty much just stopped going to class altogether. Which, of course, all led to, I guess, what you would call my rock bottom moment. Um, I actually met my husband at a bar one night while I was out living my life. We ended up spending the whole weekend together a little while later. Um, about a month after that weekend of time together, I found out I was pregnant. So I'm still in college, living with roommates, uh, still in college, but barely going to class, living with roommates, um, working as a waitress at two different IHOPs, and I'm like barely paying my bills. I was terrified. I was ill prepared. Honestly, wasn't even sure if I wanted to keep pregnancy viable. I really truly didn't know what I was going to do. And right on top of that, right, we weren't in an active relationship, so I'm not sure how he's going to react. I'm terrified of telling my parents. Like, it's just a lot of fear and uncertainty. Luckily, it turned out much better than I thought it would. He was very open to it and was all on board. My parents, after their initial shock and disappointment, though, were um, the best ever. They were super supportive. My mom actually she wanted me to move back home, right? So then I didn't have to pay rent. I could start getting ready for my baby. Um, it was scary, but I was lucky. I have a very supportive family. So it was a lot better than it could have been. Um, but also, I hate that it's kind of called a rock bottom moment, because I don't want people to think that, oh, getting pregnant was rock bottom. Um, Everything leading up to that, yes, it kind of, I was not doing what I needed to do in my life. I was not being responsible. I was not on a good path. But getting pregnant with my daughter was also one of the best things, because I realized I needed to get together. And so I started going back to school. I started being very serious about my schoolwork, trying to bring my grades up. I also realized I was not going to be a veterinarian. I had kind of messed it up with a GPA, and truly I wasn't sure if that was really my path anymore. But I knew I was going to finish school, and I was going to get this degree, and I was going to figure it out. So actually, having her was also kind of the catalyst of me being more serious about looking into the military. Um, though originally, again, more of an officer route. I was like, I'm gonna have my degree, I'm gonna go in as an officer and not be enlisted. Um, as far as personal aspect, it was also a weird time in life too, because now I'm trying to date somebody, and we're trying to navigate getting to know each other while also preparing for a child at the same time. But it worked out. I graduated from college when my oldest was about 6 months old. Um, I think at that point, then, and 6 months, is how old the youngest a baby can be. How long postpartum you can be before you try to enlist. So, before she even hit 7 months, I was already 6 months. I was already talking to a recruiter. But it actually took almost a year for me to get everything, because of I needed a waiver. So by the time my waiver was approved, all I was really focused on is I need a steady job. I need something that's going to provide for me and my child and help build a life. And so I ended up enlisting instead of waiting to go the officer route. But looking back, I don't regret that at all. Not at all. If I had to give advice to my younger self, the biggest thing would have been to focus. Like I said, I don't regret anything that happened, but focusing, especially focusing on school and my schoolwork, would have saved me a lot of pain later on. Even now, I didn't realize like how much my GPA would be looked at later in life, and so it's kind of a struggle and a little bit of a pain having to go back and redo classes just so I can raise my GPA. And also, financial tip: maintaining good credit in college, because when I joined my college, my credit was not good, and having to explain that trying to get into the military was a little bit of a kick in the gut as well. As far as currently, what I'm trying to do at this point is just continue to work on myself. A lot right now is physically and I guess intellectually / mentally. The Army has a new physical fitness test coming out, and it's very different from the previous test. And I've always been able to pass, but I mean, honestly, like this new test is scary. It's a little terrifying. It's um, kind of a kick in the gut again. Like I'm not realizing that maybe I'm not as fit as I thought I was, and now I've got to really get to that point. And also because I don't want to have soldiers who look at me because, oh well, you know, she can barely do that physical fitness stuff over there. Then what else is she slacking on? Like I don't want to be a disappointment to myself or to my soldiers. So that's a big thing for me right now. It's just trying to get in better shape. Um, and another thing is, you know, I worked at the hospital for almost the past 4 years, and I know it's not for everybody, but I actually really enjoyed being in a hospital setting. I felt like I really got to do my job being at the hospital, provided me the opportunity to get my paramedic certification, and just opened my eyes to so much more of the, people healthcare aspect compared to, animal medicine that I was looking at when I was in college. And because of it, Now I've been really considering, like, do I want to go back to school and try to be a nurse? Do I want to go back to school and try to be a physician's assistant? I think I would enjoy both of those things. I think I would be good at both of those things. Um, so, at 32, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. But because of those thought processes, that also means that where does the Army fit into in the long term? Yeah, I get physically fit and I pass the ACFT, but my current contract is up in a few years. So do I stay in and try to let the Army pay for it? If I don't get accepted to the Army's program, do I go ahead and just write out my time and go back to school on my own? Because it's much as I enjoy my job and I enjoy leading soldiers and I enjoy everything the Army has, provided me with, financially, there is a difference in what enlisted personnel make and what officers make. And I, for myself and my family, I need to be setting myself up to make sure that we are all taken care of and that I can provide my kids with the opportunities, and opportunities that maybe I didn't have and that their dad didn't have. So, that's one of those things that it's always something I'm thinking about. And, as the time gets closer, then I'll have to make a decision. But like I said, right now I still have a few more years, and so we have time to figure it out. I guess as far as closing comments, I would just say that my route to where I am in my life right now has been a little unconventional, right? But I wouldn't really change anything about it. I think that hardships, big or small, right, force you to grow. And you need them in your life. Just like everybody needs failure, so you know what it feels like, and so you can do better the next time. As far as like career choices, I'm glad that I'm joined. Like I said earlier, I am thankful for everything that the military has provided me and my family. I'm thankful for the opportunities that I've been allowed to partake in, especially being here. I do understand that not everybody gets the chance to further their careers like I have, or even opportunities that maybe aren't truly further my Army career, but have furthered my interest in the healthcare field. And so I still appreciate all of those things. I would say just don't ever feel like there's a set route that your life has to take, right? I have friends that are homeowners, friends that own multiple homes and multiple nice vehicles. I have friends that, are still trying to get their lives together. I feel like I'm somewhere in between. Like, I really can't complain, but like I said, I'm 32, still trying to figure out what I want to do with myself, and that's okay. It's okay to still be trying to figure it out well until adulthood, as long as you are trying and you are, whatever you decide you're going to do, like, you put your all into it. And I'm always here if anybody has questions, and I hope that my story helps somebody or even just makes somebody feel better. So that's all.